Hi, I'm Tom Loucks, Communications Director for the City of Marshfield, and thank you for joining me on my program, Spotlight. And today I have Steve Coy. He's a resident of Marshfield, and he's going to tell me about a game called Bridge. Knows all about it, but first, Steve, I'm going to have you introduce yourself to our audience.
Okay, well, thanks, Tom. I appreciate you having me on today. I'm a 35-year resident of Marshfield, so not hardly a native, but I feel like it most of the time. Raised my children here, and although the two of them are long gone, my wife Jeannie and I have stayed behind and really love the community. So we're both pretty active in town and try to stay busy. So
Nice.
should I jump right into
Yeah, we're going to
Bridge?
jump right into Bridge. That's your card game of choice, I bet.
It absolutely is my card game of choice.
Okay.
To give you just a little bit of background, I've played since I was a little kid, kind of sitting at the corner of the bridge table as my parents played. So I've played for over 50 years, as a matter of fact. So I'll tell you a little bit about the bridge itself. It is a card game that I would consider kind of the granddaddy of card games. It's the most addictive, for me, it's the most addictive by far of any other game, and I played just about all of them. But Bridge is a game where it's a trick-taking card game, and it's played by 4 players at a table. And in the 4 players, the 2 people opposite are partners, and their goal is to beat the other people, to score higher. So it's a trick-taking card game, and all the cards are dealt. And once they're dealt, it begins with bidding, and the players then bid in a circular motion until there are 3 consecutive passes, and then the bidding is over. So it's a progressive bid, and you have to bid higher than the people ahead of you. So it's sometimes a little bit contentious with competitive bidding, but oftentimes the people with the best cards get the bid. It doesn't mean that they're going to win, though, because if you can set their contract, then you get the points and not them. So it's a great game, and I just want to tell you that it doesn't take a long time to learn the basic knowledge, enough to play a social game and enjoy Bridge. Although most people say that no matter how long you'll play, that you'll always find new challenges and that the learning never really ends. And I can attribute that. I play with different people often, and we have to figure our bidding strategies before we sit down, and they're always different. But the main thing is you have to know how you and your partner bid so that you can get to the best contract. It's a social game, and as we speak, there's probably bridge games going on around town. In many cases, it's just 4 people that are friends that all join each other in one of their homes, and they'll play bridge for 2 or 3 hours in an afternoon or an evening or that type of thing. And in that case, what I'm going to talk about is my own particular fun is to play a little bit of a spin on it. Although the skills are the same, I'm going to talk to you today about playing a brand of bridge called duplicate bridge. And then the way that works, that means that people play at different tables, and I'm going to get to talking about duplicate bridge in Marshfield. We play and usually have 4 or 5 tables at a time, but the way it works is each team that sits down at a table is playing the same hands people are playing at other tables. So they're actually being measured on how well they play the hands versus how well other people play those same hands. So it isn't a matter of who gets the best cards, it's a matter of who plays them the best. So that's the theory behind duplicate.
Oh, neat. Yeah, that's a lot more than I had thought, what duplicate means, and you had brought me this information, and I think it's great to learn from a professional like yourself. And we can even lead into a little bit about that you provide instruction if people want to learn. We could talk about that, and then we go back to other games here in the interview, but I kind of just want to put out that I've got the master here of bridge.
Well, I wouldn't hardly agree with that, because there are some wonderful bridge players in town. Let me tell you a little bit about what we do in Marshfield and what happens on a Wednesday. Because like I said, there's games going on probably every day of the week in town. But in Marshfield, we play at the community center, the brand new, beautiful Marshfield Community Center on 2nd Street. And they've been very, very good to us and provided us some space, and the people have really turned out. What we do is we meet in the morning at 10:30, and that's an instructional time. And we have a class for new bridge players, and that's coming up. I think February 19th is the first Wednesday, and it goes for about 2 hours, and it goes on for 6 weeks successively. And after that, people should know enough to be able to play a nice social game, and they can continue coming back on Wednesday mornings and sharpening their skills and learning a little more, and it becomes a social group on Wednesday mornings. So that goes on all the time, but the basic start from scratch instruction will come up February 19th.
And you help the people learn at that time.
Yeah, I'm the basic instructor. There are people that regularly beat me in the afternoon session, which is a segue into the afternoon. At 12:30 is when we play duplicate, and once again we usually have 4 or 5 tables. It's a nice variety of people from town. It tends to be a little bit older group, because in the afternoon it tends to be the retirees, and I would say that the crowd ranges in their 50s to in their 90s, and just lovely people that all get along very nice. So sometimes you hear that duplicate bridge is ultra competitive, and if it is, it's not in Marshfield. The people are very pleasant. They all do their best to win in every hand and win the day, but it is what it is. So at 12:30 we have a game, and once again it's a partnership game, and anybody that shows up that would like to play at the duplicate game at 12:30, anybody with a partner plays. So we don't know who's coming in advance. Whoever shows plays. And if people, for example, that know how to play but don't have a partner, they could call me, or we could see what we can find, because there's a lot of times that people are looking for partners. So we could probably find one if you don't have a partner. I do just want to touch on, what if you might want to learn the game but don't know anything about it. And I'll go back to, we have a class that starts the 19th. It runs for 6 sessions and then continues after that. It's through the auspice of the Parks and Rec Department. There is a modest charge. It's $10, and that covers the whole deal. It even includes just a very nice binder that would be referred to throughout the instruction, and also a nice reference as you continue to play. So it's a bargain like no other.
Yeah, $10, and you'll feel right at home when you get to play others at other times. Otherwise, it's no fun when you go to a card game and like, I've never played this, I don't know how.
Yeah. Well, it does take a series of classes to learn. It isn't one of those games that you can sit down and in an hour you're playing readily. There's enough uniquenesses especially to the bidding, that you need to learn. But it is a trump-oriented trick-taking game, and if you play 500, if you play sheephead or whatever, you're usually a pretty quick study.
Okay, yeah, I was just going to ask that. What other games are close, and 500 and sheephead, but not like cribbage? That's a bit different.
Not at all like cribbage, but a little like 500. It's a bidding process and a playing. It's actually a derivative of a English game called whist, and I don't know. I wish I could tell you the real history of it, but I think it goes back a couple hundred years when it evolved. But it's been around for a long, long time, and the people that play are somewhat addicted, like myself.
And you really call it a mental exercise. It's really good for, the ages of all of us, really, but 50 on up.
Absolutely. Well, for younger folks too, but they generally don't play with us during the day.
Yeah, well, yep.
I do want to say that I think that the social interaction is very important. You have a weekly event It gets you out and doing things with people that have similar interests, the people that you truly care about, because a lot of times they're your partners, maybe not that day, but another day, and everybody seems to get along very, very well. It's a game of communication, whether it's bidding or playing. There's communication skills and teamwork skills that help you be better players, and that's one of the things that happens over time. There are people that we play with that have played together for decades, and it's almost like they're two people in one brain.
Do you see this game down the road with younger generation learning this? Or is it an older generation? Is it losing its steam, or is it kind of coming back, cards?
Well, I would say that it has lost a lot of steam over time, and I play elsewhere too. I play in Stevens Point and Wisconsin Rapids, and from time to time, and I don't think that it's dropping any. The popularity, I don't think, is declining too much, but I sure don't see it that it's a runaway train by any chance. It's a game that people need to learn, and right now I think the younger generation is very busy taking care of their families and taking kids to soccer practice and all that, and they may not get to it.
Right.
I find that a lot of the people that play with us played as younger folks. They might have learned to play bridge in college or in school or as youngsters, and then didn't play for 20 or 30 years. And when they retire, then all of a sudden they already have the fundamental skills, and they've come back to play with us.
Yep, it's like riding a bike in a way. You remember that. But I think you're right. I even look into my generation when I was really young. I stayed with my grandma a lot. I don't know if those days are gone, and that, I'm looking back to the 70s, early 80s of my childhood, and I always learned my cards from her, and she was excellent, and she knew all this. I don't know if that's happening today as much in the world because people have moved away, families aren't as tight. I don't want to say they're not, but there is some differences. We all know families don't have time to eat together like they used to. Kind of like what you said at the beginning, you learn from your parents. You're not seeing parents do that as much. So, but hopefully this tradition will continue, and you're providing that to people that go over to the community center every Wednesday, right?
That's right. Every Wednesday that isn't a holiday. So it's every Wednesday.
Pretty much every Wednesday.
If they're open, and I mean they could be closed because of weather, and that would sort of kibosh it. But every Wednesday we play the more formal game at 12:30, and at 10:30 is more of a brush-up game for people that want to just that maybe know how to play and just want to brush up on their skills and see if they want to get re-involved.
How do they sign up? Can they go to the Parks and Rec or call you? What should they do if they want to sign up for this new?
Well, they actually, for the class, they actually have to sign up through Parks and Rec.
Oh, they do. Okay.
And they get on their roster. I would encourage them to call me if they have questions about what to expect or anything at all about it. I'm more than available, or I'll call back.
Okay.
So
would you leave your phone number for us, please?
If I may.
Yes.
It's a local cell number, 715-650-3377. 650-3377.
Yeah, that would be great. And if people have questions besides just signing up, maybe want to know a little bit more, give you a call. And
that's great.
I'm sure you get back to them if you're out, maybe playing cards at that moment. You never know.
I very well may be.
But it's kind of neat that you say you go to Rapids and Point. Is there some differences in those?
No, actually, bridge is the same wherever you go.
Okay.
And if it's duplicate or social, it doesn't matter. If you have the basic skills, you can sit down basically at any bridge table and play. If you're on vacation, you can drop by a club like ours and sit in for an afternoon, and it's exactly the same. We all do it in English. So, just a little trivia point. Yeah. Two of the more famous bridge players in the world, I think, are Warren Buffett and Bill Gates. And they both love the game, and they play together as partners. And I've certainly never played them, but I'd love to.
Wouldn't that be neat?
Yes, it would.
Maybe we could bring them here, and
I'll invite them. How's that?
There you go. No, it sounds. I don't want to say it's a hard game because anybody can learn it, is what you're telling me.
Anybody can learn it, and I think I always encourage it for younger folks. Both my children can play; they can get by, and I think it's been wonderful for their math skills, because you're constantly, as you play the hands, have to decide what's your best choice on how to play it out and so forth. But just cognitive skills are good for young folks and older and seniors alike, and it's very good for your mental health.
It definitely sounds like it, and you get to learn to make decisions too playing this game, and that's a big part of life. Is when you're younger, is to make decisions.
You have to decide.
Yeah, and if you don't want to pass, well, I don't know, that doesn't work. You really have to decide, and like you say, this game has a lot of benefits. It's more than social.
Indeed it is.
Was there anything else that you would like to talk about? I just want to make sure people are aware that they can get instruction from you February 19th through the March 25th. If they miss that, or they're gone, or they're maybe down south living, will you do this again in the summer or
We
fall?
usually do 2 classes a year.
Okay.
So if they're playing, have never played before and would like to go through a basic class, or even if it's been a long time, that class would be good for them. But on the other hand, if they have some real experience under their belt and it's been a long time, we can get them in some games and get them started.
Oh, just come right in without doing this? And
well, they would need to come in the morning to the morning session that has a lot of table talk, and it's very casual, and we're always welcome to new people that want to sit in.
All right. Well, they could just come by. Arts and Craft Room is where you are. The community center located right next to the library.
Exactly.
Once the library, I believe. And a beautiful facility. And if I'm not right, or if that food's going to be served down there real soon, as I'm understanding, at lunch.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting to know. I didn't know.
Yeah, they're bringing that in, so it's going to be lunch every day coming up, I think, next year.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So that'll bring more people to the facility.
That facility it has more and more use every day and more activities. They've done a wonderful job of trying to make it user-friendly for the public.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Steve, for sharing all this information about Bridge, and hopefully sometime we can get down there and see a little bit about what you're doing, and maybe pass a few more tips and tricks to our viewers. Otherwise, I'll let you do that in your own instruction with those guys. And appreciate you coming by this afternoon. And I know a lot of people out here watching our channel probably play the game there or somewhere else with friends.
Yeah,
like
there's a lot of people that are playing that are already playing elsewhere in different games, and we'd certainly invite them down on a Wednesday afternoon if they're free and able to come.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Thanks so much, Steve.
My great pleasure.
I want to thank our viewers for watching us on Marshfield Media Access on my show, Spotlight. Take care, and we'll see you next time.
I lived in Chicago for 42 years, and when I was young, I really got in bridge. I got introduced to bridge right away, so I've been playing for a long time. And then and duplicate, that was duplicate, and of course this is duplicate. You don't find duplicate too often, but bridge is it's a wonderful game. It's great for the mind, and it's a lot of fun. I'm not a master. I'm not, but I have 102 master points. A life master, you have to have 365. And about bridge, you talked about all ages. The young people don't play. It's a game that started out a long time ago, and the point is, it was older people. And but the point is, I would just, and the National Association is trying to do things to encourage young people to get involved.
My name is Darlene Berry. I've been playing bridge here in Marshfield since last January, about 1 year. I live in Marshfield, and I started playing bridge because my husband and I both retired, and he's a long-time bridge player. He played bridge when he was in college, was in a lot of tournaments, and I knew nothing, absolutely nothing. So I took a class here at the community center. Steve Coy was our coach, and started right from the beginning, where you just have to count your 13 cards and make sure you try to find a fit in a major or a minor suit. I was real reluctant to get into the afternoon games because I didn't feel like I always had done my homework. But I've been playing in the afternoon games occasionally, and I've had a number of partners, some very experienced and some novice like myself. I found it to be a very intellectual game, challenging. It's good for my memory. There are a lot of little tricks that over time and experience I hope that I can get very good at. People have told me, the mentors in the group have told me they think I have card sense. I don't really know what that means, but I did play sheephead a lot, so there's some similarities with taking trump and setting up your hand so that you and your partner can play it a certain way. There are several different kinds of bridge, and I think we're playing yellow card bridge. Steve would probably shake his finger in my face if I got that wrong, but I think that's what we're playing. So there are a lot of conventions, and I don't think I'm really good at it, but I don't think I'm bad at it either. People keep asking me to be their partner, so I must not be too bad. We have a number of people who are longtime bridge players, and they are quite skillful at the secret messages that bridge partners will share with one another as they're bidding their way up the board. Surprisingly, twice I think I finished in the top 3. Once I finished second with my partner. So again, maybe it's a little bit of beginner's luck, but I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. And I think Marshfield is really lucky to have a community center that offers these kinds of activities. Our group sometimes is small, where we'll have maybe 12 people, but today I think we have 5 tables of 4 people, so we have about 20 people in there. And we are going to be offering the class again, so any of you beginners, it can be done. Please consider coming down. You sign up through the recreation department, I believe, and maybe Steve has started the next class after the new year, so you can come and check that out.